This week on the show, we mourn the loss of an original outlaw, Bobby Allen. Highland Racing gets back after it at Lakeside Speedway, and Sheldon Haudenschild wins his first Crown Jewel event. All of that and more on this week's edition of the Highland Room. What's up? I'm Chase Robin, and welcome back to the Highland Room. The first thing we want to do on this week's show is send our condolences out to Shark Racing and the Allen family, as late on Sunday night we learned about the loss of Bobby Allen, an icon in sprint car racing. He was part of the original World of Outlaws back in 1978, scoring 2 wins during that series' inaugural season. Allen would go on to score a total of 30 World of Outlaws victories in his career, along with that 46 career All-Star wins, and of course the granddaddy of them all, the Knoxville Nationals win in 1990 and a Williams Grove National Open title in 1975. Scruffy was always known as the guy that did things his own way, and he continued that tradition when he brought his son Jacob and his grandson Logan Schuchart on the Outlaw Tour in 2014, accruing another 49 Outlaw wins as a car owner. Bobby was close with Highland Racing as well, as he and Jacob went full-time with the series during its inaugural season in 2024 and scoring a win at Golden Isles Speedway in Georgia. Bobby will be missed by so many, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family at this point in time. And it's going to be weird not seeing Bobby Allen at the racetrack anymore. And just everybody at Highland Racing is thinking about that family and that race team as we sit here and get ready for a week of racing. We'll be thinking about him all weekend long. This weekend, Highland Racing is back in action with a doubleheader at Kansas City's Lakeside Speedway for the Heartland of America Showdown for a $15,000 to win feature on Saturday's finale. Now, Friday's race will be the series' fifth visit to the 3/8 mile facility, with wins in the past going to Gio Scelzi in 2023. Brad Sweet swept the weekend in 2024, and Rico Abreu was the Hasty Bake Grill's Kansas City Clash winner earlier this year on May 9th. We are truly in the home stretch of the season, as Friday and Saturday will be races 47 and 48 of 51 in 2025 with Kubota Highland Racing, and just Lucas Oil Speedway and Texas Motor Speedway left on the schedule after that. Back in May, it was a wild feature as we saw 3 different leaders during the A-Main, with Austin McCarl leading the first 6 laps of the feature before falling out with a mechanical issue and handing the top spot over to Kerry Madsen, who would lead the field for 4 laps before he and Rico Abreu would get together in turn 3, sending Madsen for a wild ride and collecting Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson. Rico would then go unchallenged the rest of the way, with Tyler Courtney, Justin Peck, Spencer Baston, and Scott Boguski completing the top 5. Speaking of Tyler Courtney, he will be back in the FloRacing booth this weekend after having the last 2 weeks off to rest his voice and take some notes and get himself dialed in for the finale races at Kansas City, at Texas, and at Lucas Oil. Some early confirmed drivers for this weekend include Ayrton Jensen, Ryan Timms, Landon Crawley, Jack Dover, J.J. Hickle, Clinton Boyles, Austin McCarl, and Cole Vanderheiden, with more drivers expected as the week progresses. It's only Tuesday, or it's Monday, it's Tuesday, so we expect more guys to let us know that they're coming, but as of right now, we do know that those drivers will be on hand. Hot laps will be scheduled at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and coverage on FloRacing beginning at 6:15, or you can grab your tickets and be there in person by going to highlandracing.com. We hope to see you there for the Heartland of America Showdown at the Lakeside Speedway, which has, had some incredible races the last couple of years. We mentioned the one on May, had 3 different leaders. Last year, a great battle between Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, and Corey Day. And then in 2023, that race also had 3 different leaders before Gio Scelzi crossed the line first in the series' first ever visit to that racetrack. Now, in this week's middle segment of the Highland Room, we were able to catch up with Bobby Allen back in 2023 before the Eldora Million Sprint Car race, which of course his team went on to win with driver Logan Schuchart. And in this segment, we were able to hear from Bobby Allen about finances in sprint car racing, his career, the careers of Jacob Allen and Logan Schuchart, and the overall ecosystem of sprint car racing and how Shark Racing fits into it. A little bit about Bobby Allen's career as well. A legend, an icon of sprint car racing, and luckily FloRacing was able to sit down with him for an extended interview back in 2023.
When you go to Eldora, I mean, you obviously probably have a lot of memories there, but what's it feel like when you go to that racetrack?
It to me, it always feels like when you go to Eldora, and even Knoxville, but Eldora to me, it's always been, it was an exciting place. It was an exciting place to watch the cars run on. Even when I raced, I'd be in there and I'd be running in the pack, say third or fourth, something like that. I'd be watching them guys up there doing things. Hell, I was a fan while I was racing. And then if you beat them, then you're, if you outsmart them and figure out the thing better and you win, then you're way happy. To win at Eldora is a pretty big deal.
Who were some of the best there?
Well, it was always Kinzer, Sammy, Jack Hodenshield. He won a lot of races there. Wolfgang, the guys, when I ran, they were the guys that got around there really good, and I was always good on the middle or the bottom. And if the track was a certain way, I'd go, oh, yeah, I actually remember a race there, Hoosier Tires, and all of a sudden, Hoosier always wanted to run this tire, and I ran a different tire, and I locked down and spoke to them guys pretty good that night. And then I told you before, I remember the 50,000 to win. Hell, I was leading that thing. I could tell them warm-ups, or like Lowe was talking to heat race or whatever, that I had a shot at, and I passed Kinzer, and I was going on to win the thing, and then I blew a head gasket 10 laps ago, and then Kinzer got me back, and he's banging off the wall because I was that close. So I thought, hell, I'm still win this race because he's going to blow a tire. And I remember Carl Kinzer coming down before he went to winner's circle. He said, what the hell happened to you? I said, I blew a head gasket. He says he was mad at me because I didn't check my car over good. But no, Eldora is a place. It's a place that when you win there, you want to race. All the big top guys are there. It's an exciting race to win. It's fun to watch. Lots of people. It's a happy place to win, and they pay the big money.
Does it take a lot of bravery?
It takes a lot of what I call, I don't know if we call it bravery. It's making your car feel good. Because if your car feels good, you go places, and then you look like you're real brave. But if your car, there is both in there a little bit. But if your car feels good, you do things that people say, my God, you were doing this and doing that. And it really wasn't that. It was your car felt good and you could drive it where you felt comfortable. Because I remember, and I always bring different people in there, Sammy would run the wall good. Well, a lot of races, he'd run 10, 20 feet off the wall. You could tell he didn't feel good. And you can tell if a driver's not running the wall that usually does, like Sheldon or somebody, their car's not feeling comfortable there. So they're down. Because usually if they wanted to, they go up there not feeling comfortable. That's when they smack the wall and crash.
Yeah, it's a comfortability thing,
yeah.
Right? And Hewitt used to say, like, you don't just go to the bottom for no reason, right?
Right.
But he also said if you run closer to the wall, it's going to hurt less if you hit the wall.
That is true. A lot of people always said that, yes. So you're closer to the wall.
I mean, but Eldora has changed, right? Like,
yeah, it used to be, I actually think it was better back in my day because it used to be if you were the third car going in the corner, you did the slide job and it went right across the two to the front, and then the next guy third went across it. Now it's kind of like the second car done that because I think it's a little flatter or something's different.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe when NASCAR came in, they kind of adjusted the track a little bit.
Well, they did. They changed the track and things like that happened because they definitely was a different Eldora before than it is now.
You remember the days of Earl Baltus, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel like Tony Stewart has done an awesome job with the place.
He's made the place modern, looking great, done. He's done a lot of great things to that track. Yes, we're so glad he took it over. He's the right guy to have the place.
But do you have like a great Earl Baltus story that you can maybe share for us?
Well, let me think here. Earl Baltus, I know one thing. If you wasn't ready, I was on the front line one time and I couldn't get my fuel switch on. And I said, wait a minute, I'm trying to get my fuel switch. He said, I don't care. Get it out of here. He had his own little mafia group there that he ran that place with. You didn't know that. He was a great guy and a fun guy, but he was all business all the way. Yeah, Baltus was tough.
He was a tremendous promoter.
Obviously. Yes, he was. He did a great job the way he bought racetracks up and made that place big and did what he did. He had a good insight to see things, to develop things. He did a good job.
I was just talking to Logan about how you can relate to with these guys some, right? But the cars have changed a lot. But he said you're not too hard on those guys, if they struggle or if they have tough nights.
Well, I was a racer and I had a lot of bad nights. You remember more of the good nights than bad nights, but I had a lot of bad nights. So I do relate, and I know they want to win. I know they want to do good. I know that. So it's not that reason. Then I just try to I've taught them from the very beginning how to do it themselves, and they do more or less do it themselves. And once in a while, they'll ask me for my opinion, and I hope I can help them. And because I want them to do well for them and also for the car, because we do run the car off what we win and our sponsors.
Do you ever get nervous? These are your
kids,
your family, right? This is like.
Well, naturally, you're always nervous. The biggest thing you're usually nervous about. I hope the car is going to feel good. I hope they go good. Yeah, I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous about, naturally I watch the race. I'm hoping there's not, any kind of accidents they're involved in. I'm hoping they don't blow up because I know how it's important to finish a race or crash out. I'm nervous about all them things because I know they want to finish good in points. And last year, Logan had a terrible start of the year. This year, Jake's having a terrible start, to get it all together. So, I'm hoping it turns around and we get it all gathered back up for him.
I like the way that you dissect things like about as far as like having odds for people.
Yeah.
Are you like a gambler, or?
I'm not a gambler. I'm one that actually can think. I always had what made me a survival. I can look ahead a little ways, like 2 or 3 years, and I know what direction I got to go in because I've never had the money just to buy something that year. I got to look way ahead and work towards it. So I look at the odds and everything. I look at like us buying used tires or building our own motors or staying in the toter homes of how I save $150,000 or $200,000 that year by doing that. It lets me have the money to spend on the race cars to go to the level the other teams are. I don't feel like when we hit the racetrack, I don't feel like anybody's got anything over us. But I do it that way through cutting the odds the other way and grew with the boys. First they got hardly no money, just their point money. Then they got, a little percentage, and then they got a better percentage when we started getting sponsors. And, because I wanted them to do it. I didn't want to do it like my way. My way, spend every dime on it. You was always broke. I want them to make the money. So I, give them a certain percentage, and that way then they've got money they can plan on and do it and whatever. So, I do. I look at everybody as, where they're at, what they're doing, and look at it. And I do talk about it like gambling. I talk about racing like playing cards, playing poker. We all go to that poker table. You can't go there filthy rich saying you're going to buy the game, but you can't go there all the way broke to play the game. You got to go there with the knowledge of the cards, the knowledge of the game, and each one, the cards, a track, your race car, the circumstances, and all that. And so you put them into odds, and you kind of figure it out, okay, where are we at and how we can do this. I've always said that and done that.
It's always about like having the perfect combination and then showing up
right
behind the wheel, and then also shocks, chassis,
tire track, the whole deal. And I always said, always people say good luck, and I always kind of joke about it. I don't call it good luck. I call it good circumstances. You make your own luck. The circumstances you can't control of somebody else breaking something coming down across in front of you, like Larson did the last race he ran where he got taken out again.
It's over. Yep.
Yeah.
Got taken out because Ross Chastain clobbered a lap car right in front of him.
Right, yeah. I want to read about it, though, because I can tell he's not a very good fan of his.
He trolled him yesterday with a watermelon behind him at the McLaren because he's running the Indy 500, so he's getting his seat on. So, yeah, but no. So when you rolled into the pit area, right, like, for instance, Williams Grove or whatever, you're like National Anthem, like, were you always thinking about, like, what your odds were against the rest of the field, like maybe like Steve Kenzer or whatever? Like, is that something that always was running through your mind?
To a degree. When I went there, I knew if I had everything right, I stood a chance to win too on certain racetracks. No doubt about it. I mean, I won Knoxville, and I used to go to Knoxville if the racetrack was slick, because I wasn't a wall runner. If they was slick to the wall, I'd get lapped twice. But, but I knew if the racetrack fell a certain way for me, I had a shot at it. And the day that I won it, when I walked into that racetrack, I said, oh, my God. And this was before anything started. I said, you know what? I got a big shot at winning this race. It's going to be my racetrack tonight. And it turned out that way.
All right, now getting into the third segment of today's show. That interview you just saw with Bobby Allen was from the Eldora Million Week. And, a lot of things in there from Bobby Allen talking about finances of Spurt Car Racing, talking about his grandson Logan Schuart, his son Jacob Allen, and everything they've done as Shark Racing for the last 10, 12 years. And obviously Bobby Allen was a complete legend of the sport, one of the original Outlaws back in 1978. And, each of us are going to kind of give a little something that, maybe we had a good story about Bobby Allen or whatever. But for me, like when I first joined the Outlaw Tour in 2020, I did half the year there. And then ever since then to 2023, my last year there, I am pretty sure I never saw Bobby Allen miss a race. Like he was at every single race. He didn't need to be, I don't think, but every single weekend you could find him riding his little moped around in the pit area. And that was one thing that really stuck out to me. He did not need to be at every single World of Outlaws race that year. And he did the same thing when Jacob was running High Limit. I mean, he was in the pit area for every single race, never seemed to miss one unless I'm forgetting something. But that was one thing that stuck out to me with Bobby Allen. Of course, he was a funny guy on top of that, but his dedication to the sport, Tony, was, unmatched. I mean, you see a lot of these guys that ran those years that he did on the Outlaw Tour, and they're really not involved in Spurt Car racing anymore. That is not the case with him. It has been his entire life. is going to sprint car races every single weekend.
Yeah, and you use the term, life, because I think the other term that could apply to Bobby Allen, spinning off of that, is Bobby Allen was a lifer for sprint car racing. I mean, you're exactly right. How many guys do you see from the 60s, 70s, maybe even the 80s who just, they get burnt out on it? We all know what this lifestyle's like, right? You're traveling, you're racing. Back then, those guys were racing 100 nights a year. And there's that point where you get to where you're just like, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. And apparently Bobby never lost that. Clearly he never did. And that's really impressive if you ask me, because this is super, not easy. This lifestyle is not for the faint-hearted, and for him to keep showing up and grinding, especially when they weren't having the results as a team that he probably would have liked to have seen, man, for him to keep showing up, says a lot about who Bobby Allen was, and I think will continue to be in the sport of sprint car racing. I know Tyler Burnett has a really fun last interaction with Bobby Allen, our producer, but unfortunately, he doesn't get to interject and add that. Maybe he'll reference it on Twitter. Yeah, one of the last things I remember, we were at Lawrenceburg, and Bobby in the 1A and Ashton Torgerson came out to race. And I was joking with Ashton Torgerson about how, hey, this place looks fun. It was his first time there, and Ashton wasn't so sure about Lawrenceburg yet, having never been on it. And I joked with Ashton. I said, well, hey, let me climb behind the wheel. I'll drive that thing tonight. And Bobby Allen came up at the end of that conversation, and he communicated to me that he didn't think I would be a good fit in that race car. And based, like you said, Chase, he was very funny. He let me know that he didn't think I would fit in the race car. So yeah, Bobby Allen always had a crazy sense of humor. He was very easy to talk to in the pits, always wanted to let you know what he thought about what was going on. And for guys like the three of us, that's a good thing. That's a good thing to have someone who wants to share with you their thoughts and give you a different perspective. So very sad for Jacob and Logan and the rest of the Shark family. Very much going to miss Bobby Allen, and it's an unfortunate deal for sure.
Yeah, it's been fun reading the stories that everybody's putting out on Twitter and all the posts and stuff on Facebook and whatnot as well. Maybe he meant that you just wouldn't be a good fit in that car, Tony, as far as maybe the car drives a certain way and he just didn't think that you would be able to
probably
together. That was probably what he meant. But Ryan, obviously you were on the Outlaw Tour. You're a high limit guy last year when Jacob was full time on the tour as well. So you've wrote a lot of stories about Jacob, a lot of stories about Logan Short, and I'm sure you've had plenty of talks with Bobby Allen throughout those years as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, first off, thoughts and prayers to Jacob, Hannah. Bob got to spend a few years with his new granddaughter Sophia. Logan, Summer, Dana, Bill, everyone at Shark Racing. Like we said, all of us spent years with the Outlaws and then time with High Limit. So we had plenty of interactions with everyone involved with that family and everyone involved with Bobby. My favorite Bobby Allen stories are from Jacob, honestly. Talking to Jacob and he has a great Bobby impersonation and he'll call him old Bob. I think he did something, or him tearing up at the banquet last year talking about Bobby was really cool. But just my favorite stories are probably through Jacob about Bobby. He was just such a smart guy, but he was so funny too. He was one of the most hilarious people in the pit area. He'd always come over and make your belly laugh. So he's going to be missed for sure. And we're thinking about the Allen family.
Yeah, we really are. Jacob, Logan, Shark Racing, Dana, Bill, everybody involved there. We're all thinking about you guys here this week. So let's jump into the next part of the third segment of the show here, nxtbets.com/playhlr. Every single week we talk about some of the guys who could be good bets going into the weekend. Obviously no racing to recap from this weekend as far as high limit racing goes, but we don't have the odds yet. As of right now, it's 11:15 a.m. on Monday morning here, but we don't have the odds yet. But a guy that really sticks out to me, his odds have been kind of, plus 1,000, plus 1,500 here recently, Brian, is Giovanni Scelzi. 3 podiums in a row with high limit. He's got a win against the Outlaws and a high limit win at Lakeside. 2 nights this week could be a good weekend for him, and maybe a good weekend for some people to put some money on him.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week too. Gio was one of the guys to really look at, especially if you want some value in your betting odds. The 7BC is good there too, as well. Like Gio's good himself, but the 7BC is strong there as well. Sunshine, I think, was on the pole or the front row of the High Limits first race there. He contended in 2024 with Brad and Kyle one night.
Ran second this year as well to Rico.
Yep. I mean, so it's Jake Argo and the team have that place figured out as well as Gio. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. And, I know they're chomping at the bit to get into victory lane together. He'd be the 19th different winner this year with us. And 2 nights at Lakeside, I think he's got a pretty dang good shot.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that is the case as well. Another guy that could be pretty solid here, Brian mentioned him momentarily there, Tony, was Brad Sweet. He swept the 2-night show there last year. And of course, we know how close the points are. He's 52 behind Rico after Rico had a really tough night at Path Valley, got upside down there. So a 52-point gap between Rico and Brad in the driver's points. Brad's a 3-time winner there to go along with those 2 wins with High Limit. He's got 1 with the Outlaws as well. So I've always thought of Brad Sweet as a very good driver when it comes to Lakeside Speedway, and maybe this will be an opportunity for him to close in. I mean, he was running up front earlier this year before that big wreck with Kerry Madsen and Kyle Larson knocked him out. So maybe Brad can knock it down to 30, 40 points going into Lucas Oil.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, Brian, you'll have the stats on this, but I think Lakeside back in the spring was Brad's first DNF with High Limit ever. And it was his first DNF in a national 410 wing sprint car race in a very long time. I'm just sitting here looking at the driver's points like you're talking about. And I'm going to talk about Brad, but I mean, man, again, Rico Abreu's stat line in 2025, it's crazy. 11 wins. He blows everybody else in the top 5 in driver's points way out of the water. The next closest is Aaron Reitzel with 7 wins, but Reitzel, of course, due to missing all those races, is down to 6th in the driver's points. The 87 is still fighting for an owner's title. But Brad Sweet, it's what he's always been, right? Consistency. Brad only has 3 wins this year to Rico's 11. I feel like Brian Walker. But Brad has 27 top 5 to Rico's 23, and they're dead even at 34 top 10s apiece. So all that to say, Brad and the 49 crew are still the ultimate point racing team in the country when you really stop and look at it, I think, by the numbers. And all that to say that you can't count them out no matter where they go. Lakeside, Lucas Oil, and TMS, the last 3 tracks on the schedule, they can be and they probably will be good at all of them. Brad just knows how to show up and finish races as high as he possibly can because points are still the name of the game with only, 5 races left. So, yeah, the 49, they're points racers through and through.
Yeah, they certainly are. And, looking forward to Lakeside this weekend, Brian, because the last few times we've been there, the surface has been extremely good. I think there was 3 different leaders in the May race. I'm looking at the 2023 results over here. You had Courtney, Rico, and Gio lead laps. And I remember the good battle between, Brad, Kyle, and Corey Day, last year at the Heartland of America Showdown weekend as well. So I think Lakeside, underrated racing surface the last couple of years, has been putting on some good, some good shows, and which is tough to do on a very fast, big-ish racetrack that they have there, but they have nailed the surface the last couple of times we've been there. So I'm looking forward to a really good weekend over there.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of good races at Lakeside in like all forms of motorsports. I've seen great non-wing races, 360 races. Almost every time I've been there for the 410 between the Outlaws and High Limit, it's a good show. And it'll be exciting to see. It's a it's a town that is rich with motorsports history that you don't really think about, but it is. And so the fans come out and support, and the racing's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the only track we're going to this weekend. We'll have another show out before we get to Lucas Oil Speedway and the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track next week. But let's jump into some racing that happened this weekend. Of course, it was the 3rd leg of the Crown Jewel in sprint car racing this weekend at Williams Grove for the National Open. On Friday night, another new first-time national touring winner with Chase Dietz. I feel like there's been a lot of first-time winners this year. Thorson, Sams, Pursley, Sanders, Timms, Dietz, Cole DeCito, Travis Aarons, just to name a couple off the top of my head here. But Chase Dietz getting that victory, and it wasn't like he just waltzed into and led every single lap or anything like that there, Brian, because he had to pass Carson Macedo, a two-time National Open winner, Lance DeWeese, not slowing down at all, and then Danny Dietrich was there as well. A fantastic battle on Friday night for Chase Dietz to get that first ever national win, and I feel like a lot of people probably saw that one coming. He's been extremely good all year.
Yeah, I'll do some hand-up accountability right here, Chase. I'm the first one to hate on the racing at Williams Grove.
I'm the second one. I
was going to say, I can admit to that. Ask anyone in a group chat with, Jackson Steele will quickly remind you. That racing this weekend was phenomenal both nights, especially Friday night too. From start to finish, from non-qualifier to the last lap of the A main. Everyone involved did an incredible job, with that event this weekend. It was packed. It was awesome to see. There were so many storylines. So kudos to everyone involved at the Natty-O. Yeah, the Dietz win, really cool to see. I think it was something for the past maybe year or so, maybe just the start of this season, people kind of pegged to see coming at some point, just didn't know when it would be. That Stamen 23, that group has really came on strong in central Pennsylvania this year at the Grove, at Lincoln, at Port, everywhere they go. And it was cool to see. It was neat to see John, and I think it's Kelly Stamen, the car owners. They climbed on top of the wing when Chase was in victory lane. So that was really neat and, very, very cool to see first time winners.
Absolutely is. And then on Saturday, of course, for the finale, the $75,000 to win National Open, the 63rd edition of that race. It was a very exciting finish, a good battle up front as well. Sheldon Hodenshield getting by Bill Baylog late in the race, and then Danny Dietrich on the last lap gets into the second spot. And according to my calculations here, Tony, Sheldon joining Ryan Timms and Anthony Macri as first time Crown Jewel winners. And I'm hoping I'm right on this, but it looks like the only other time that's happened when there's been the Knoxville Nationals, the Kings Royal, and the National Open all in the same year since I can't remember the exact year, but the only other time that we've seen three new winners of Crown Jewels, I believe, was 2021 with Tyler Courtney, Kyle Larson, and I'm forgetting off the top of my head who the other one was. That was bad right there. I'll figure it out in a minute. But Sheldon finally gets a Crown Jewel win, Tony, and he does it in exciting fashion as he always does.
Yeah, we got to sit out with some friends on Saturday night. My man Poppy at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, he had Dirt Vision up on his iPhone. So we were watching, sitting around the fire, and that race just felt like it flew by. And I know Williams Grove's already a fast half mile, but I don't know about you guys, but it just felt like the pace of that race was just insane. And I liked that win for Sheldon for a bunch of reasons. It's obviously, interesting to think about the fact that he's in his final weeks. We're down to the last calendar month and a half, less than that, of the World of Outlaws season, and he's leaving that Clausen Marshall NOS Energy Drink number 17 once the World Finals are over. And so for that team to put it together and score a big win at a historic track, at a historic event, huge for Sheldon Hodenshield. Very happy for them. Danny Dietrich, we were both sitting there staring at the iPhone around the fire going, what happened to Bill Baylog? We knew he and Danny were close, but for Dietrich to steal second there at the line, I know he got lots of boos when I introduced him at the wheel back at Path Valley on Sunday night, but I don't know. Danny Dietrich's a cool guy. He's funny. He's a lot sometimes, but he looked great on Saturday night. And so, yeah, the National Open, I'm just like you, Brian. I'm not always beating down the door to go back to Mechanicsburg, but obviously a good weekend of racing for them, and it was cool to see. Good way to cap off a big important weekend for the Outlaws out there at the National Open. And a big story with Sheldon getting the job done. Cool to see them. Nobody's given up on that team. I think that's a big fear lots of people have. Oh, the driver's leaving, the team's doing something different. Is everybody going to keep busting their ass and working as hard as possible? Well, if you know Kyle Ripper and Sheldon Hodenshield and the guys on that 17 team, nobody there seems to know what give up means. So, that was cool to see. And who knows, there might be a few more left for those guys before the World Finals are over.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. Now, I did want to clarify my brain fart earlier on. 1984 was the first year of the Kings Royal, the National Open, and the Knoxville Nationals. And Carson Macedo won the National Open in 2021. Kyle Larson won the Knoxville Nationals in that year, and Tyler Courtney won the Kings Royal. Those were three guys that had never won a crown jewel before. So, according to my notes here, since 1984, it's only happened twice now that three guys won their first crown jewel in the same year. So, great stuff there.
Kyle Larson won the Kings Royal the month before that.
What? No, that was the year of two Kings Royals. And so technically he won the 2020 version. So that's what I'm going off of.
So he won before.
Yeah, it's
2020 before 2021.
Well, that's a kind of a weird one because there wasn't all three of them in the same year because there was no Knoxville Nationals. Well, actually,
but no matter what, 2021 is before 2020 or 2020 before 2021.
That one was confused. So I guess it was the first time.
Yeah, is your argument that it was the first time those guys each won their first crown jewel in that year? Yeah. Well, if Kyle won the Kings Royal, 21.
I was going back and forth on that one for a while. I guess that is the first. So I mean,
keep going back and forth.
That's even better. That's first time ever we've seen three guys win their first ever. So I'm glad that I had that conversation right there because I would have been saying that a lot here recently, and that was just a confusing situation with Kings.
See what happens. See what happens when we communicate, guys.
Yeah.
We can solve things as a team.
Yes, absolutely. Team building exercise right there. So that was good. And Tony brought up Bill Baylog there, and what a year it's been for him, Brian. He was close to winning the Houston Tie-Bank Nationals, of course, ran second, I believe, in that race. It was close to winning. And then, of course, he leads 35 laps of the National Open. Ends up in third, but what he is doing right now is nothing short of unbelievable. I don't think anybody had Bill Baylog as a guy to contend for the National Open win this weekend.
I definitely didn't, but it was exciting to see. I found myself cheering for him Saturday night. It's been fun to watch him all year long, every outlaw race on Dirt Vision. He's one of the most just easy guys to cheer for in the whole sport. Just doing what he does. A lot of it on his own. I know he has some crew help. He just added Kevin Engel, and he's had oh man, I'm blanking on his name, but he's helped him forever. And he's got so many great sponsors, and just the way he runs his operation and the way he is as a person, treats people, treats his fans. He's just a really great guy, and so it's been really fun to see Bill Baylog turn into the winning contender consistently that he has been all year long.
Yeah, and he's right there close to the top five in the points. I think he's seventh in points with them as well. So nice job to him. Congrats to Sheldon. Congrats to Chase Dietz and Danny Dietrich with 2 podium runs on the weekend as well. Now, the Outlaws head to New Egypt this weekend, and boy, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are cheering on Logan Schuchart this weekend there on Friday night in New Egypt, Tony. I'm not sure where Torgerson's running at, but wherever those guys are at, there's going to be a lot of Shark Racing fans hoping that one of those two can break into victory lane. That would be one hell of a storyline if they were able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan and Jacob are both, I think, pretty emotional guys. They both show it in different ways. But yeah, I mean, like we said at the beginning of this segment, hearts go out to the whole Shark Racing family. It's terrible, right? When you lose someone, whether they're on your team, they're a part of your family, but over there at Shark, the team is the family, right? That's one and the same. So yeah, if Logan could channel all this emotion into a win, that would be huge. It'd be awesome to see. And again, we don't know where the 1A's racing, it sounds like, and whatever goes on, you just hope both those teams have safe, successful, fun weekends, because that's what Bobby Allen would have wanted. He always had a lot of fun when he was at the racetrack. He had a lot of success when he was at the racetrack, and safety is what we hope for everybody. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. We're getting on the plane, Thursday morning to head out to Kansas City, and got 2 nights out there. So we'll be keeping an eye on all that. When is the New Egypt race?
I believe it's Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So I'm sure someone in the car will have Dirt Vision dialed up, and we'll be able to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, so everybody's going to be cheering on those two, the 1A and the 1S this weekend. We've got 5 races to go. I mentioned it earlier. Rico leads Brad Sweet by 52 in the drivers and the RSR 87 by 34 in the owners standings. Lakeside, Lucas Oil, 2 nights at Texas, and then it is the banquet. And Brian, I was going to come to you because I was going to ask, do you have your outfit picked out for the banquet? Are you ready to go?
I do not. No, I thought about that last night, but I'll get something going. But it's not really important what I wear. I don't have to do anything or be on stage. So, but I wanted to say real quick. Did you watch Power Eye at Lee County this weekend?
I did not. I did watch the highlights of the first night when Brady won. That track looks sick.
It was awesome.
Wow.
I can't recall ever watching a race there before. Great racing. Friday night between Brady and then Aaron. It was an awesome show. There were big sliders against the curb on the wall through traffic. And then Saturday night, too, Reitzel got the win. So that might be some big momentum for him coming down the stretch.
Iowa is underrated for racetracks. Obviously, we have Knoxville, which everybody knows about, but there's some other tracks that people don't really know about that put on some great racing around there. Usually it's stock car land, but whenever the sprint cars show up, they put on some great racing at a lot of different racetracks around there. So, congrats to Aaron on the win. Kind of forgot about that as the National Open was going on. But, congrats to Aaron on that win, and maybe he can carry that into a good weekend over in Kansas City at Lakeside. So, I believe that's all we've got here in the third segment of this week's show. Tony Laporta's got his polo on. He looks like he's ready to go on the broadcast, and Brian Walker's got his hair all done and looks like he's ready to do some tweeting for the night. But we are not. We have a couple more days before we get into action on Friday. Make sure to tune into FloRacing. 6:15 is when we should be live on FloRacing Central Time. And then you can get your tickets online, HighlanderRacing.com. There are still tickets available for the Heartland of America Showdown. So that is all we've got. We'll talk to you guys again next Tuesday as we will review or recap and preview the final 3 races of the 2025 Highland Racing season. Thanks for watching. See you next week.